Oop is you/comparison adept 9322 edited for spelling and punctuation. Original posted 6 months ago in r/Ada. I know how the title sounds, but please bear with me. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I, 24M / and my wife, 24 / recently had our daughter in July. She is the best thing to ever happen to my wife and we couldn't be more thrilled to have our little bundle of joy. She recently got sick while staying with her grandparents, my in-laws, while my wife and I took a trip for work. For context, my in-laws are really big into LifeWave/X39. It's some patch that supposedly helps regrow stem cells by reflecting light rays back into your body, allowing your body to produce more stem cells to fight off diseases and sickness. If you ask me, it sounds like a snake oil and my wife agrees, calling it a pyramid scheme. The only way to get said patches is by spending well over $1,000, and then you're tasked with selling the patches yourself. It's essentially some multi-level marketing product, where the more patches you sell, the more money you make. Falling right in line with my wife's comparison to a pyramid scheme, but MLMs are somehow legal. Now, I've tried doing research on X39, and the only comments I've seen praise said product are brand new accounts never used before or after, or their entire profile is dedicated to shilling out for LifeWave/X39. In my own research, they appear to just be overpriced stickers. They contain no medication, no special UV rays or anything of the sort. They're literally just an overpriced sticker with an air bubble. But my wife and I have made it very clear that we wanted no part in X39, nor did we want our daughter to have it. Even if it's fake, we wanted no part in it, and on the off chance it did something, I didn't want our daughter to be used as air lab rat or guinea pig. Now, before we left our daughter with my in-laws, we provided them with some infant medication, just in case she got sick. Can never be too safe, you know? Well, we returned home from the work trip early because our daughter wasn't getting any better, so we picked her up and went home. We were going to give her a bath, and in the process of taking her jacket off, we found an X39 patch on her arm. Upon finding it, we immediately called her parents and demanded to know why she had a patch on her. Her parents tried saying that it's safe for baby. We even ordered the ones for ages 7 and younger. And that it's practically medication. Their words, which still didn't answer our question. So my wife checked the go bag, and the Motrin we gave them was, while it was used, not used very much at all. Her parents tried claiming that someone else in their group or whatever gave it to their son and they got better in a week. Point is, we didn't buy it nor did we care. We've made it abundantly clear that we wanted nothing to do with X39 and we didn't want our daughter to be a part of it. They failed to listen. My wife was on the phone with them for over an hour, and while I don't know the exact length the conversation went to, I know it at least ended with her screaming going to see my fucking daughter again, and if you attempt to come to my house we will call the police. Before hanging up. That was 3 days ago now, and we've had several missed calls from family members, her parents, her siblings and even family friends all saying that we overreacted, and they were just trying to help. Maybe we overreacted, but we wanted nothing to do with that, and despite making it clear, they went against our wishes and did it anyways. And instead of giving my daughter actual medication, they tried to give her some placebo patch. Her parents tried claiming that we're stopping them from seeing their only grandchild over something so small. But we did want to hear it. Ida? Update 1. About a month ago I made this post ranting about my in-laws' weird obsession with for lack of a better term, cult regarding stem cell regeneration through patches, which clearly isn't a real thing. There's been some development on that end, and while I'm confident things will likely end here, I wanted to give a quick update for those who may have been curious. I'm writing this on the toilet at work, so don't mind the rushiness of it all. After my wife essentially cut tied with them and we all received a million phone calls and text messages from family and friends, things quieted down for about a week or two. We started having my sister watch our daughter instead, when we had to work. We haven't had another out-of-trip town since the initial post, however. Through those couple of weeks we never really heard anything beyond a couple of supposed shit-talking posts on Facebook bitching about us, but I can't seem to find the posts. We thought things were, probably, hopefully, going to end there, but boy were we wrong. And this is quite the jump from the last post. My wife and I were visited by CPS about 2 weeks ago or so, after they received concerning calls about supposed child abuse and negligence within the household. Of course, nothing like that happened and the caseworker was very quick to see that. We had asked to report it her, and while she couldn't say, we had a suspicion it was from her parents. We were completely helpful and cooperative with the caseworker, and after she left that night, my wife called her mom up and asked her if she's the one who called CPS. Surprisingly, her mother took full accountability, but, not so surprisingly, tried to spin it around in her favor, claiming that she did it for our own good because our daughter was sick and she wasn't getting any better when she was there, so clearly we were doing something awful as parents. Kids get sick, it happens. But they're also extreme anti-vaxxers. Not just COVID, I mean everything. From even as something as trivial as the flu shot. Yet, they're willing to shill out thousands of dollars for some supposed stem cell regeneration sticker. The fucking hypocrisy and irony in their bullshit is unmatched. My wife didn't really know how to react to that, so she basically told her mom to go fuck herself, and she wants nothing to do with her again. I know I saw a few comments on the last post saying maybe we shouldn't have cut them out entirely, but now I'm starting to question why we didn't cut them out years ago, before our daughter was even a thought in our heads. About a week after the first audit, my mother-in-law showed up to our house on my day off while my wife was at work, and essentially demanded to see our daughter, forcing her way into our home by pushing past my arm. When I told her to get the hell out of my house, she had no business matching in here like that. She essentially told me that I'm unfit to be a parent because I'm depriving my daughter of help she desperately needed because she's clearly a very sick child. My daughter is perfectly healthy right now, and in fact, has had no stiffy nose and no high temperature, nothing. I told my mill straight up that she was batshit insane. I went off on her about how she lied to us, went against our wishes, had the audacity to call and lie to CPS, and then show up at our house unannounced/uninvited, and march herself inside, as well as everything about her X39/LifeWave bullshit. We argued there for a while, before I finally got so fed up, I told her to leave my house before I call the police. She stormed out of the house, and in true Karen fashion, said this isn't over. Before slamming my door, I immediately called my wife who was of course, irate. The following morning, we filed a restraining order at the courthouse from her mom and dad, because they're clearly not in their right mindset. The caseworker had to outie us a few more times as per their guidelines over the past 2 weeks, and yesterday was her last day where she informed us that we're doing good and she's sorry for the trouble they caused. We kept her up to speed on the LifeWave shit, the showing up unannounced and the restraining order, and though she couldn't really take a side, she seemed apologetic. But my wife and I are pretty livid. We started looking at houses in another state to get as far away from her in-laws as possible. Our company has offices out there, so it's entirely possible we could just be transferred, so we're crossing our fingers that all goes well, the restraining order gets filed soon enough, and we'll get a place clear across the country so that this will hopefully be my last update. Update 2. Hello everyone. Thank you for being so supportive. I've read some of the comments, though not all. Far too many, and I know some of you have asked for updates, and so I wanted to give everyone an update for those still interested. Things aren't going to be as juicy in this post as the last two, but some new things have happened, so I'll just jump right in. After my in-laws called CPS on us for no discernible reasons other than we forbid them from seeing our daughter, things mostly quieted down. Some of you suggested that we should do more than just get a restraining order, so we bought some security cameras and had them installed all around our property, and our neighbors, who are pretty good friends of ours, was in the loop for the most part, and any time we had to go somewhere, not only did we have video cameras recording every time someone entered our driveway displayed directly on our phones, our neighbors kept us updated too. She stopped coming around for the first few months since she called CPS on us, but just the month before last, as we were preparing to move, my in-laws somehow got word we planned on moving states and attempted to block our driveway as her dad tried blocking the front door. Not sure what their plan was there because we have a back door and an extra side door leading from the kitchen, but I digress. Her mom blocked the driveway, stopping our U-Haul or car from leaving the property, and wouldn't budge, even after we told them we would call the police. They told us they'd move if we told them where we were moving to, but my wife told them that wasn't happening and they had 10 minutes to leave or we'd be calling the police. My neighbor came over during the commotion, but my in-laws still wouldn't budge. My daughter is crying during all of this as my wife is trying to console her, as my neighbor and I are attempting to remove my father-in-law from the doorway, but he wouldn't move. Eventually my wife called the police, and I'm guessing another neighbor called them as well because they responded within mere minutes. My in-laws kept screaming that we were taking their rightful grandchild away and that we'd all be damned to burn in hell for this, but honestly that just made me laugh. The police kept asking them to leave, but they wouldn't. Eventually they were arrested for refusing to leave, and the police were nice enough to call a tow truck for us to be able to back out of the driveway. Lo and behold, as the police were handcuffing my in-laws, they both had on those X39 patches, and even the police questioned them about it. But whatever, what's done is done. We were able to finally leave and on to new adventures. We've been settled in at our new house for the better part of over a month, and we're enjoying it greatly. No word from her in-laws, and they have no idea where we are. We have them blocked, but we'll eventually get messages from unknown numbers or Facebook accounts asking where we moved, but there's no way they're that foolish to believe we'll actually tell them. Luckily, neither my last state or this one have any grandparents' rights, so we're in the clear there. Thank you everyone. Hopefully this is my last update. Now, on to the next story. Confronted my friend about his cheating and prioritized the well-being of his kids over supporting him, leaving my wife questioning if she should matter. My wife is upset at me because of a conversation I had with one of my ex-friend this weekend. I wanted to get neutral opinion on if what I said was horrible and disrespectful to my wife. Just a warning that I am writing about a very sensitive topic and may be triggering to some people. I have been friends with Jason, 38M, since high school. Our families are also close, and our kids are of similar age. For context, Jason is married and has 2 young girls. Last month, Jason's wife Bree got anonymous messages about Jason cheating on her. She snooped around and learned that Jason was having a 2-year-long affair with one of his co-workers. Bree was devastated and reached out to my wife. My wife and I supported Bree, and she confronted Jason and kicked him out of the house. He is living with his parents now and trying everything possible to talk to Bree and make things right. I was faced with a tough decision but decided to be there for Bree and kids and cut contact with Jason. He has been messaging me and trying to talk to me since then. Last week, his mom reached out to me and told me that Jason has not been doing well and having panic attacks and wanted to talk to me. I was reluctant, and despite my wife's protest, I decided to talk to him. He came to my house on Friday evening. My wife did not want to see him and stayed in our bedroom along with the kids. Jason was very apologetic and started telling me how he is so angry at himself, and how he broke up with his AP in order to make things right with his wife. He told me that he is also planning to leave his job and would do anything to get back with Bree and see the kids. He wanted me to talk to Bree so that he can at least discuss the situation and they can work on their marriage. I have never seen him cry and it was just horrible. Ted complaining about how Bree has been ignoring him for the last several years and they were having problems and that led him to make such a horrible mistake. I know it's not my place, but I completely lost it on him and told him to stop blaming Bree. If he had problem with her, she should have worked with her to solve it. Cheating on her is the worst thing he could have done to her, and he has no idea how hurt Bree is due to all this. I told him that he not only hurt Bree, but also fucked up his kids' lives. They did not do anything wrong and now have to suffer due to his selfish behavior. I told him that I know that husbands and wives may have problems, but his actions are punishing his kids, and their lives will never be the same after this. I told him that I am angrier at him that he destroyed his girls' lives, and he is a monster if he did not think of them before cheating on his wife. We both argued for a while and eventually, I told him that I cannot help him in this situation, and we will stand in Bree's corner and make sure she and the kids are taken care of. He left after that. My wife was appreciative that I did not support Jason and did not let him blame Bree for his horrible actions. Before sleeping, my wife asked me why I focused on telling Jason that he should have not cheated because of the kids. She said that Bree's life is also destroyed, and she is never going to emotionally or financially recover from this for a long time. She feels that the kids are collateral damage, but Bree should be the reason why Jason should not have cheated. I told my wife that from my perspective, I feel worse for the kids because they had such a nice stable home and Jason fucked it up for everyone. My wife told me that she knows I would never cheat on her, but if I was tempted to cheat, would I stop myself because I love her, or would it be because of our kids? We also have 2 girls. I told her that the main reason I would not do it is because I have morals, but if I was playing her game, I will stop myself because I would never want my daughters to go through this horrible situation. My wife was upset at the answer because she feels that she should be the number one reason why I would not cheat. I understand her point and I love her very much. However, I really want my daughters to have a wonderful perfect life with 2 loving parents, and that would be the main reason I would never do anything to sabotage it. Am I the because I prioritize my daughter's happiness over the love towards my wife? Is that a normal thing to do, or my wife is right, and she should always be my number one priority? This has always been a big debate. Are the kids the number one priority or is the spouse the number one priority? Personally, I see the spouse as the number one priority, since you need a good marriage to properly raise your children and it is the main and best way to lead by example of how they should and be expected to be treated in a relationship. Plus the multitude of benefits it has for the children. But I see the points of the other side. I guess I see the point too. However, my heart broke for the girls during the last month that was on top of my mind. I talked to them over the last month and while the youngest is too young to understand anything, the older one knows what is going on and you could see the hurt in her eyes. I don't think either are the Neither of you want your kids to suffer. I always think that at the end of the day your spouse is the only one that chose to love you. Your parents love you because you're their child. Your kids love you because you're their dad. Your wife loves you for you. That to me would be enough reason to not cheat, even if you don't have kids. Agreed. Luckily my parents are still together. However, growing up, I have seen many of my friends go through this and saw their personalities completely change. That may be the reason for my viewpoint. Update 1. The issue was that my friend Jason was caught cheating on his wife last month, and when I had a heated argument with him last week, I told him that he should have thought about his kids before starting a 2-year-long affair with a coworker. My wife heard the conversation and was upset that his wife Bree was the one who was wrong the most, and I should not have told him that his kids should be the number one reason he should have not cheated. I agree with all of you who said that the comments I made were horrible, but it was just an emotional week, and not sure I am thinking about things right. The night I posted here, I had a very long conversation with my wife. I apologized to her for telling her that our daughter's happiness would be the main reason why I would never do anything to hurt our family. I told her that she is the love of my life and how much I value all the things she has done for us. I understand that she is my wife, and I made a vow to her to be with her forever, and I understand how my statement was hurtful to her. She was luckily very understanding and told me to not worry about her. She said that she was hurt in that moment, but understands how much I love our kids. She did ask me why I even kept on bringing up kids during my conversation with Jason, as that was the point in my argument with Jason where I lost my cool. The thing was when Bree kicked out Jason after learning about the affair, she was a mess. Bree is a Psalm and does not have many friends. My wife is probably the closest friend of Bree and hence she called my wife to tell her about what happened. As my wife went to her place, I volunteered to pick up Jason's daughters and bring them to our house to give Bree some space. Bree was having a mental breakdown since the incident and my wife chose to stay at her place to look after her. I was watching the kids for 4 nights, until Bree was okay enough to take care of them. Jason's older daughter, who is 8, kind of understood what was happening. However, his younger daughter is 4 and was just missing her parents. She is daddy's girl and kept on insisting to me to call Jason to our place. It was heartbreaking to look at her and feel how irreparably her life will be affected because of Jason's selfish decisions. I just felt very sad inside during the whole situation. I understand that it is Bree and Jason's relationship, and I don't get to have a say, but I feel that was the main reason why I reacted the way I did. I feel lucky that my wife understood my emotions and was gracious to support me and not be upset with my unfortunate statements. She told me that she told Bree that Jason came to our home and about my fight with Jason. Bree felt hurt about it, but asked my wife if she could come to our house on Friday to talk to me. We met on Friday and Bree asked me about my conversation with Jason. I told her in detail about what happened, how Jason's mom reached out to me, and I met him because of that. I told him about how Jason told me he broke up with his AP and was going to leave his job to be far away from that situation. Bree asked me about our fight and why I said things about the kids. I again was honest with her about what I felt. I apologized to her for having opinions as it was their relationship, but I just said those things in the heat of the moment. Bree asked my wife and me if we think Jason can change, as she is also very worried about the kids and the impact on them. She said that Jason has always been an amazing dad, and she is not sure if she can raise the kids without him. My wife told her that what Jason did was horrible and unforgivable, but we do not want to give opinions on their relationship, as only Bree can decide what to do about it. Bree told us that she'd want to talk to Jason, and if we could host both of them, so she feels safe. Jason and Bree came to our house on Sunday, and it was the first time in a month that Jason met his daughters. It was a very surreal moment to see how emotional he got after seeing them. I don't care what all of you say, but I know that I will never jeopardize my family because I would never want to be in Jason's shoes and how broken he looked when he had to face his daughters. There were a lot of tears all around. Bree and Jason discussed things privately. From the gist I got later, Jason apologized a lot to Bree and told her he would do anything to make things right. He told her that he has already put a 14-day notice at his workplace and vowed to never see or talk to his AP again. He told her that she could have access to his phone, and he will not take a job where he has to travel for work or stay away from her overnight. All he asked was for a chance to go for marriage counseling and work on things. He also offered that they could move to a different town near Bree's parents and get a fresh start. Bree accepted most of the things, except she does not want to move to a new place. They decided that Jason can move back into their house, and they will try to find a way forward from this situation. They both thanked us for mediating between them, and Jason also apologized to me for all the drama and told me that he will do everything possible to heal his marriage, and make sure his daughters are taken care of. It all seemed like a good outcome on surface, but my wife feels that my comments about their daughters may have guilted Bree into taking Jason back. I really did not intend to meddle in their relationship, and I know that they have a long rocky road ahead if they want to recover from this situation. I just hope that they find the strength in doing that. I wanted to get opinions on if what I did was right in this situation, as I feel I accidentally caused both of them to get back together, and if Jason cheats in future, I might be the one to be blamed because I talked to Jason first, and then my words guilted Bree into taking him back because of the kids.